Hello and welcome back to the Ornery Chef. Today I'm working through some details on how to better get y'all the ingredients so that you're not having to constantly go back and forth in my videos. So just bear with me, but I'm gonna walk through this one. That way you'll have the ingredients list before the actual recipe, and then that way you can take your time to have a shorter video to go back and forth. Today we are making a chicken flauta. I call it a flauta, but a lot of people, would classify it more as a dry chicken enchilada. Now, how the chicken is prepared, I'll explain that to you a little further down the line. But the chicken is basically boiled, and then it can be used for chicken tacos, chicken taquitos, flautas, chicken taco salads. It's a very universal chicken. So, but for this, the flauta is, you're going to need one package of flour tortillas, and it doesn't matter what brand. Just kind of stay away from some of the store brands or like the Aldi brands, because they're not so good. Today I'm using the Chi-Chi's, and this is a pack of 12. Okay. Now before you go crazy, this is one 4-ounce block of goat cheese, plain goat cheese. I'll explain this to you later, because this is another pet peeve of mine, and you'll understand why when I explain it to you in another video. But you're going to need one 8-ounce package of mozzarella cheese. Again, it doesn't matter the brand. You're going to need 1 can of green chilies. You're going to need 4 medium-sized garlic cloves. Now, you don't need this whole bunch of cilantro, but I'm going to go ahead and cut it up, because the other half of this is going to be used in another recipe in the next upcoming videos. So you'll use half of this, and that is pretty much the recipe. And when the chicken is finished boiling, I'll come back and explain that to you. I'll show you how we prep the chicken at the end, and then I'll show you how to put this flauta together. Okay, now that we're back, please don't be confused. There are 4 chicken breasts in this pot that has just completed the boil, and I'll get into that here in just a second. But the broth is going to be turned into a cream of chicken soup, which 2 of the breasts will be used for. The other 2 will be used for the flauta. And I'll share a secret with you at the end of this video, but both of these recipes go so much together that I decided to incorporate it in the same one. So what we're going to do is, we have a colander here, and we have a stock pot. We're going to set the colander in the stock pot. Now, before we get to what we do next, this broth is super simple. Okay, this is 4 chicken breasts. It's 2 carrots, not peeled. You don't care about the peeling on this, because we're not going to eat the carrot. 1 lime, not juiced, just cut in half and dropped in there, and 1 whole large white or purple onion. You can use any kind of onion that you want, but I find for my taste, since I'm not a real big onion lover, is the sweet white Italian are my favorite. My second is the purple onion, but you just peel the skin off of it, cut it in half, and then cut it into quarters. And 3 garlic cloves, and a teaspoon of whole black peppercorns or white peppercorns. You can use just regular black pepper if you want. It does not matter. And then a half a teaspoon of crushed red pepper flake. And then we're just going to take the chicken breast out, and we're going to put them in a bowl so that they can rest for about 15 minutes, so that they can, get all of their juices reacclimated back into the meat. We don't want any of that onion. Leave the onion at home. All right. And then we're going to take this pot and we're going to pour the broth into the colander in the other pot. And then once that is all drained, you can set all of this aside. The veggies will go into a compost heap, so that's what we use to grow all of our vegetables in the summertime. Now, to this, and I learned my lesson from the first time, I pre-opened my heavy cream. You're going to need 1.5 cups of heavy cream. There's 1.5 cups. Now, to keep it from getting too thick too quick, we're going to add 1 cup of whole milk. You can use 2% milk. I try to stay away from like the almond milks or anything like that, because it's a cream of something soup. You don't want almonds in your cream of something anything. Unless it's on like the top of a chocolate almond croissant. Then you kind of really need the almonds. But anyway, I digress. Now we're going to set this on a stove and we're going to let it simmer for about 20 minutes, and then we'll add the chicken. And while this is getting ready, then we can put together the flauta, roll them up, put them in the oven, add the chicken to the cream of chicken soup, and then by the time the flautas are done, everything comes together at once. Okay, now that we have the chicken shredded, I'm gonna show you how we're gonna put the flauta together. And as promised, I took half of the chicken and shredded it as well, and this will go in the cream of chicken soup there in about 13 minutes or so. We're just going to set that aside. This is all about the flauta, or enchilada, or taquito, or whatever you choose to call it. Now, before anybody gives me a bunch of crap about my safety colors today, I was a busy man and I had to wear safety colors. So then I decided to come home and turn y'all on with two delicious chicken dishes. Okay. Now, what I failed to mention before is, even though I'm not an onion person, is I took half of a small onion and I diced it very finely, and I'm adding that to the warm chicken. So that will help soften that onion up, because I love the onion flavor. I just don't like the onion texture. And mix that around in that warm meat so it starts to soften. Now what I also like to do while the chicken is still warm is I like to take a lime, and if you roll it up underneath your hands, it softens up the cells and makes it easier to squeeze. So cut this in half. Now I like to take a spoon and twirl it around inside, because it helps break up those cells and you get the little bits of lemony pieces in, you know, your taquito or enchilada. See, look at all those limey pieces. And if I said lemon before, I'm an idiot. It's clearly a lime. And the other half. Oh yeah, baby. Juicy. And this is how Starbursts are made. Sorry about that, my nose itched. Okay, now I would like to introduce you to one of my favorite, kitchen tools. The fork cloves the garlic, right? You sit over there. Now, instead of, back in the old day, I used to take a knife to mince this up. But that's a pain in the ass. And it takes forever, and you can never seem to get the 1 or 2, maybe 3, 4 pieces that, get stuck to the knife, and you fight it and fight it and fight it until you say, you're going in anyway. This is a garlic crush. And you basically peel the garlic, and you run the garlic press over it. And then just take the back of your knife and scrape it out. And then you can do the others. And it gets out a little bit of aggression because you got to push hard sometimes, especially on those big cloves. Hey now. Got a slippery situation going on over here. See? And in a fraction of the time, I got the garlic minced to the size that I need. Then we'll take the 1 can of green chilies, undrained. The pack of mozzarella cheese. We're gonna go with half of it this time. Let's see what a bugger this is gonna be. Especially with a slippery situation going on. Maybe not too bad. There we go, look at that. Make sure we get all that goat cheese. There we go. Get it in there. And you're asking me why I still have the gloves on since the chicken's already pulled apart. Well, because I'm gonna need them anyway to do this part. Mixing all of that together. Oh, I smell the chilies, I smell the lime. You just want to make sure all of that goat cheese is evenly incorporated. And having the chicken a little warm will help, spread that goat cheese around. But you really want to do this at room temperature. You don't want the cheese too hot. Okay, get off me. All right, now's when I will take off the one glove. And we're gonna add just a little bit of chili powder. I'd say it's probably half a teaspoon. And about a 1/4 teaspoon of cumin. Gives it that smoky Southwest flavor. Smells amazing. With the lime, the goat cheese. Okay, now you're going to want to cover this and let it sit in the refrigerator for, I'd say, about the last 10 minutes of the cream of chicken soup that we're waiting on before we add the chicken. And when that's ready, I'll be back to show you how to put it all together. Okay, after 10 minutes of resting in the refrigerator, I've gone ahead and added the chicken to the cream of chicken soup that we're making. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to preheat our oven to 350 degrees, and we're using, this isn't quite a 9 by 13, I think it's like an 8 by 11. But I sprayed, the bottom of it just very lightly with some baking spray so that the flour doesn't stick to it as it's warming up. So I'm going to show you how we roll these taquitos. You take about, I don't know, I'd say it's about 2 ounces. Spread it out evenly, just like so. And you're gonna just wanna take this and you're gonna wanna roll it with your fingers to get it to spread all the way throughout that whole tortilla, and then just pull it back to yourself, and then just roll it. And there you have it. And then place it in the pan. Now let me get these rolled. I'm gonna bake them in the oven at 350 degrees for about 25 minutes, give or take. You want the flour to get, crispy, and I find that it's a telltale sign when you can start to see cheese coming out of both ends, which usually lets you know that it's hot internally. Now let me get the rest of these rolled and I'll get back with you. Okay, now that the flautas slash enchiladas slash whatever you want to call them are done, the cream of chicken soup is done, and I wanted to show it to you because let me tell you, don't think that this is some weak ass soup, because look at all that chicken. Now, the secret to this cream of chicken soup is if you wanted enchiladas one night, you can use this same flauta recipe, everything as it is as I presented it to you, add this to this while it's still in the baking pan, and then cover it with cheese, and bow, you've got a very creamy chicken enchilada. But I like just, hear that? The crispy tortilla and the filling inside of this. Now, you can do whatever you want to with it. You can even actually make them a little smaller if you want by using the little street taco shells, if you can get them in flour. But flour is definitely the go-to. What would they call that, Steve? Gluten product. Now, I've got another video coming up to show you how to make an egg roll without any gluten or rice paper wrapping or anything at all. The filling is actually the wrapper. Until then, like and subscribe, leave your comments down below, and if you have any questions about any one of these recipes, then feel free to drop a comment and I'll respond.